Welcome back. For those who don't know me, I'm Rokael. Today we're diving into the glamour of this year's Vanity Fair Oscars party. I'm gonna recreate the look that I did on Kim K. I couldn't be more excited to share all my tips and tricks on how to achieve the most perfect red carpet look for one of Hollywood's biggest nights. With me is my stunning friend Maya, who I've worked with on numerous projects, and the incredibly talented Ricky Mota, who will work his magic on the hair. For this event, Kim wore a breathtaking white Balenciaga gown. So I created a look that really complemented its elegance without overpowering it. For the eyes, I wanted something that would stand out, yet remain sophisticated. I'm gonna show you guys how to achieve a soft, smoky eye look that complements Kim's dress and adds depth to the eyes. So to start prepping Amaya's eyes, I'm gonna use a Skin Classic Matte palette, and I'm gonna grab a fluffy brush. This is a CN Richards London brush, and I'm gonna grab the shade number 7. I want something kind of rusty and warm to create dimension first, and I'm gonna start working on the outer V of her eye, and I'm gonna kind of work the product into her lash line. What this does is it kind of just starts to pull the eye out little by little, create like a little bit of a snatch. Now I'm gonna work the color into her crease, keep it in like little windshield wiper motions. I'm not gonna go all the way through. I just wanna create like a little bit of a crease socket and add some depth and darkness right here. So what that does is it almost creates a almond shape. Opposed to if I go all the way out, it's gonna start to round out the eye a little bit more, but I wanna create more of like a winged cat eye effect, so I just keep the darkness only in the outer V part. So me and Amaya have worked on an Anastasia Beverly Hills campaign. We've done a Skims commercial together. I didn't do her makeup, but we worked on it together. We recently saw each other at B's Secret launch party, and I was like, girl, we gotta glam again. We gotta do like a YouTube moment. And Amaya was so gracious and kind to say, I'm gonna lend my canvas to be on your channel.
No, I'm so grateful to be here. Famous Rokael.
Oh, Lord.
What?
I'm like, say it again. I'm just kidding. I'm a humble queen, okay?
He's
I'm
humble.
a humble.
He's very humble. No, honestly, that's one of the reasons that I love you so much.
Oh.
I could just read your energy and who you are, and I'm like, you're just so humble and kind.
Oh, I love you.
It's something really hard to come across.
It's the God in me, honey.
It really is.
I'd rather be humble than be humbled.
Yeah.
Okay,
for sure.
so, you know, in my life, I've had to kind of go through that and learn. I wasn't always this humble. I had to be humbled a little bit. Maya's killing it. She's just, you know, that girl, honey, so.
Thank you.
I moved to New York in 2011, and I was going to New York, but I was staying in Jersey for like a month, and I had such a hard time.
Why?
Because I had to take the path.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it was the worst. And at that time, there was no Uber, so like you had to either call a cab or take the train.
And the cabs are expensive.
All the money I was making was going to just get to work.
Ah, that's so annoying.
So I had to find a little shoebox, and I moved to Manhattan, but I lived in Chinatown. That was tough too. And then also the encounter with the rats every morning to go to work was
detrimental to
it
your
was
health?
traumatizing.
Yeah.
I had to develop survival skills really quickly from the rats. I would
the rats
literally
is crazy.
stomp on my way to the train.
So that they don't get
So
close
they
to
would
you.
scatter before you walk, because if you wait to walk by them, they'll scatter while they're in front of you. So if I'm like stomping loud enough, they're like scattering before you walk through them. It's literally hopping over rats. Like it was
That's
so
disturbing. It's enough to get me not to go to work.
you know, just me running to the train. And sometimes I'd be running late, of course. So I was like running to the train, and I'm like, damn, I gotta run really hard, you know? So people, I mean, these rats
The
hear
fact
me.
that you had to run hard is hilarious.
I mean, it was the only way that I figured these rats would hear me coming. And then I broke my toe, and I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go. And just to kind of touch on what I've been using the shade pen from the Skin palette, and I'm just kind of using this rusty, deeper brown, and I'm just amplifying the V shape a little bit more, kind of creating like almost like a little bit of like a smoke. So now I'm gonna use the BDELLIUM 765 brush. It's like an angled taper brush. I like it because it's like super small and it creates like that V shape. I'm just gonna pack it on the outer part of her eyelash line. I'm gonna create like a smudged out V-shaped liner. I'm gonna take it too far out because I'm gonna come back later with a little bit of eyeliner, but I just wanna create like a smoke effect. So I'm gonna pick up that same shade number 10 from the Skin palette, and I'm grabbing this Choice SURRATT brush. It's like a crease brush. I'm gonna lift up her eye socket a little. I'm gonna start lightly, just gonna create like some dimension. I just love this brush because it's so pointy, so it just really allows me to just get right in there without creating too much diffusion or blend. You wanna kind of create like a soft line. I didn't use any eyeshadow primer, only because I wanted to really allow the colors of the undertones of the rusty orange shadow pop through. So depending on the color palette that I'm doing, I'll put either a colored primer, like a colored undertone. If I wanna do like a super smoky eye, I'll do like a chocolatey brown or like a taupey shadow. Orange undertone shadows tend to pop better when the skin's a little bit more transparent. And especially if you have olive undertones, it really makes it pop. So now I'm just grabbing a little bit of micellar water. I just put a little bit in this really convenient pump. It just allows me to pump the product into the cap. And I'm just grabbing a wedge sponge. I'm just gonna use the back of the clean sponge, and with a little bit of the solution, I'm just gonna lightly clean up this edge. and create like a little snatch. And then from here, it's gonna help me create like a guideline on where I'm gonna put the eyeliner. I like to use micellar water just because I feel like sometimes when you work with like a makeup wipe or you use other products that have components or ingredients that break down the product, it leaves a residue. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of this black INGLOT gel liner, and this is the number 77. It's just their black eyeliner, and I'm gonna grab a INGLOT eyeliner brush. I'm gonna place it on the brush. You can see how flat the product made it, and I'm gonna lightly start to pack the color into her inner part of the eye. It's gonna really create a lot of depth and make the eye look really snatched and create like a contrast between her eyeline and her eyeshadow. I'm gonna do the top of it. In this area, I wanna make it super thin. Come in the inner part of her lash line. I'm gonna create like a little bit of a wing, almost like to cat eye it out a little bit. Now that I've lined the inner part of her lash line from the top, not from the bottom, I'm gonna come and create a very light, thin eyeliner. I just like doing this because it kind of makes the eye color pop more. Why do you feel like for you it takes 45 minutes to do your liner?
I'm really specific on how I like the shape. To be honest though, I don't know why I don't have a gel pot and a brush.
I like to open up the eyes a little bit with some concealer and a really flat brush. And what I'm gonna do is pop concealer right here in the middle of the eye. And I just like to do this just to kind of open up the eye a little bit and create a 3D effect.
Oh, this eye look is stunning.
She's coming together.
You know what's crazy? I feel like I've tried to achieve something like this, but I never use a rusted.
Use like bronzers?
I would only use bronzers and I would feel like, oh, it's pretty, but it's missing something. The fact that you use a rust underneath.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of that.
I'm learning so much here.
Kim's complexion at the Vanity Fair's Oscar party was nothing but velvety and radiant. So I'm gonna show you how to recreate the look using some of my favorite products. So I'm gonna start off by doing Amaya's body. I always like to start with the body because I like to create the color here that I'm gonna connect to the face. Sometimes it's kind of harder if you go backwards, or sometimes you're like, dang, I should have done more pinky undertones or an olive undertones. So it's just easier to start with the body first. So I'm gonna use this Glow At body oil, and I'm just gonna do a couple of pumps on her chest, and then I'm gonna come in with the brush and buff it all out. So now I'm gonna just work it with this big body fluffy brush, let it set in. And then what I like to do is I just like to grab a couple of drops of the foundation that I'm gonna use on the skin and just put a little bit on the body. Today I'm using the M.A.C Studio Fix Fluid in the shade NC42. Chest area, pretty close to Amaya's color. I'm just warming it up a little bit. I'm not going too far off. I'm doing more of like an olivey undertone. Then I'll come back with like some powder foundation or some glows to set that. I'm gonna use a little bit of this DEZI Overnight Moisture Mask. I know it's meant for overnight, but I actually like to use just like a little bit as a real moisturizer because it is a little bit more hydrating. I just find that I like it under makeup and it like works for me. And just kind of work it into the area that I want to hydrate. Nose, under the eye, and then on the forehead. So now I'm gonna hydrate her lips with the My Lip oil in the shade Golden Milk. I definitely made sure that the oils hydrate the skin and then it would actually go into the skin layer, and then one that would sit on top. So it's like two different oils. The one that stands out the most is the jojoba oil. Jojoba oil is really good for hydrating. That's the one that you feel the most.
It's not sticky at all.
Yeah, and it's definitely
It's just like smooth.
So I just picked up a little bit of that NC42 foundation. I'm gonna do a very light coating of foundation, opposed to like building coverage. That way, as I'm coming and adding blush or contour, I just see how deep the warmth is being built and how much I want to either highlight or contour. I noticed that your skin's like healing a little bit. Did you do like a chemical peel, or did you do microdermabrasion?
So I had a facial done that had like a light peel in it, and then I went home with my own skincare to follow up with what I did. And it's a lot of glycolic acids and things like that. So right now my skin is in the peeling process. So that's why I'm a little more dry than usual. And I have a little bit of discoloration, but it should all peel off soon.
Honestly though, with the magic of makeup, you can't even tell. So now I'm gonna do a little bit of contour. I'm using this Patrick Top brush. I like it because it's like a tapered angle for the nose contour. And I'm grabbing this RCMA foundation that I depotted. I'm grabbing these two colors, a little bit of Shinto 4 and Shinto 6. Do a little bit of a nose snatch. I like to blend the color into the bristles first.
Why do you do the nose contour first?
I don't know, I feel like that's when you look at somebody, you see their eyes first and then this area. So I'm like, I always like to see how much snatchness I want to do here. And then also too, because I'm going to start doing the concealers, like work from the middle outward. Because I just did the eyes, so this also kind of ties in a little bit into the eyeshadow. So I'm always about snatch. I'm grabbing the same color and I'm grabbing a MAC 168 brush. Pack that color back into the bristles so I can get an even application. And I'm going to start snatching her jawline. I'm also putting a little bit of that on her décolleté, only because since I'm building warmth on the face, I want to make sure that the body's also having some warmth. Otherwise, there's a lot of warmth going on over here, and I mean the body ends up looking a little disconnected from the face. So now from here, I'm just going to build a little bit of the contour, and I'm going to reinforce it with one that's a little bit darker, but right now I'm just kind of creating like the pre-contour. So I'm using the Fenty Beauty shadow stick, and I don't like to go straight onto the face with it. I like to put it in the back of my hand and then warm it up and like work it and apply it on the bristles. And I'm just kind of reinforce the contour where I've already placed it. This is also an easier way of like mapping out your face without committing to like a super dark color. So like use like a taupier contour, it'll kind of give you a nice guideline. And just add a little bit more right here on the tip of the nose. Or really pinching her. Can you still breathe? I kind of lightly lined her lips a little bit. This is like the pre-lip liner. I just like it because it also adds a little bit of warmth in this area. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of the MAC Full Coverage Foundation in the shade NW25, and I'm gonna start highlighting her face. We're now creating like a nice little pinch, and I'm applying it on the sides of the bridge of her nose. I'm just kind of creating some brightness. I like to follow the guide that I created for the contour. I'm gonna lightly just create like a snatch right underneath the liner that I created and just brightening this area too. And I'm not gonna go with the concealer all the way up to the lash line. I'm gonna leave a little bit the space underneath just to allow the shadows that we're going to use later, which are going to be a little bit more of like that rusty undertone, to still pop. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that same brush that I used to contour her nose, and I'm going to grab the darker Shinto shade. I'm going to use this as eyeshadow, put it on the under eye, primer in a way for the bronzy rusty eyeshadow. I just like it because it gives me like a nice even base, and I feel like the pigment adheres to the warmth of this foundation. And then I'm going to use this Patrick Toffer face brush, and I'm stippling the product. I don't want to remove it, I'm just kind of like blending it out. Especially in this area, you want to be very lightly with tapping the product because you want to still leave a little bit of depth and dimension, but you don't want to leave a super marked line. Kind of going in circular motions, and I'm really starting to connect that bronzer and jawline into her neck. And like I said, I don't want to completely get rid of the product. I just want to leave enough to leave the warmth and dimension, but the goal is to just leave like a faint line. And then I am going to come back and reinforce this with like a powder bronzer, so it is also just leaving me like a guideline of where I'm going to create a little bit more depth with the powder. Now I'm going to do her blush, and I'm going to use these Bosma Beauty blushes. Color is fuchsia and bubblegum pink. I'm gonna create my own little custom combination. Kind of works as like a nice poppy pink. I kind of work the blush all the way up. I'm gonna come in with the shade peach. I'm gonna just only put it like right on the apple of the cheek. Now I'm gonna move into the bronzing stage. So now I'm gonna do concealing, and I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Full Filter Concealer in the shade Sugar Biscuit. Maya has her iconic way of doing her concealer. So I'm gonna use a little bit of the Huda Beauty Full Filter Corrector in the shade Peach. And I'm gonna spot just a little bit right above the blush. This is kind of like connecting the blush with the concealer. Come in with a wet beauty sponge, and I'm gonna lightly start tapping the color everywhere. I'm gonna only blend the concealer first, and then I'm gonna start connecting the colors of the blushes. I don't wanna mix the colors around. Because I wanna get a little bit closer to the shadow, I'm gonna use a fluffy brush. Let's just work this product in here because I don't wanna touch the eyeshadow with a sponge. Grab the sponge again, I'm gonna start connecting these colors together, which is a corrector with the blush and the concealer. Like a Neapolitan blush. I always used to see it on TikTok. It was like the chocolate, strawberry, and then the vanilla. Now I'm gonna start lightly setting certain areas of Amaya's face with the MAC Studio Fix powders, and I'm gonna grab a fluffy puff, and I'm actually gonna start with C5, and I'm gonna just powder the lighter areas. I don't want to completely matte everything out, but it's just so that way the areas that I want to get rid of too much shine, and then other areas I'll leave like still a little bit of the dewy glowy finish. So usually I leave it like right at the tip of the nose or in the cheekbone area. Gone over the face with setting powder. I use the Ben Nye banana powder. So now I'm gonna brighten her under eye a little bit more with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake and Snatch. Come here and just create more brightening. They're like, you're going for the old school, Kim. That's right. You guys remember like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kim? So I'm gonna lightly bake her under eye with the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Easy Bake powder. I'm putting the product on the back of a soft, fluffy sponge. Tap the powder in here and then lightly work it towards the outer part of the eye. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the Peach Pie shade. I'm gonna just place them like down the bridge of her nose. I'm gonna do a little bit on the sides of her lip, kind of brighten that area a little bit. Just bring it right under the blush a little. Now I'm gonna do the MAC Extended Play GIGABLACK Lash.
She's a MAC girl, through and through.
That's where I started actually.
You worked at MAC?
I sure did. But I was only there for 3 months and then I got fired.
Why'd you get fired from MAC?
Well, actually I quit and then they were trying to keep me and then they were like, no, we're gonna fire him. And I had a friend that would always switch with me and the manager was like, you know, I don't care if you find someone to cover your shift, you need to show up. Yeah.
Hater.
You a hater.
I'm gonna mix 2 lash styles. I'm gonna use Meteorites. It's a trio cluster. And then I'm gonna come in with Lunar Lights, which is a double cluster. I'm gonna come in with the medium cluster, which is our third cluster from the left. And then you just apply it on the outer part. And the next medium cluster, right next to that one. So now I'm picking up Lunar Lights and I'm gonna use the medium cluster, which is our third cluster from the left. And I'm just gonna place that right next to that cluster. I'm using the medium cluster, which is the fourth cluster from the left. Now I'm grabbing a short cluster, which is our second cluster from the right. Place it right over the last long lash. That just adds a little bit more drama. Makes the eye look a little bit more cat eye. I'm gonna put the description in the caption below on how to achieve this eyelash look that I created on Amaya and on Kim. And it's gonna basically describe how we use the lengths of the lashes from long to medium and short. So be sure to look out for this detailed description in the caption. And now I'm using my eyeliner that will be dropping soon. I love this eyeliner because it has like a little bit of like a gold pearl that I put in it that makes it just kind of reflect the light, so it looks more bronzy and like golden. Just really creates beautiful dimension. Always complements like any like rusty eyeshadows or like warm bronzy tones. Look at that. Oh, that looks so pretty on camera. To complement the overall look, we went with the neutral lip color to enhance Kim's natural lip shape without taking too much focus from the eyes. Now I'm gonna line Maya's lip. I'm using the Skin Lip Liner in shade number Nude 14. I'm just gonna overline in the Cupid's bow and create more of like a pointy pout. So now I'm lining the inner corner of Amaya's lips, and I am using the point of the pencil to kind of create this line. I'm dragging it down underneath, and then a little trick that I like to do after I've lined, I'll come back with concealer and I'll like detail everything and kind of reshape the lip line once I've gotten the color in. Just because sometimes when you are using a pencil that's sharpenable, after you've sharpened it and you start using it, the point kind of loses its shape, so you have to create a little bit of crispness with either a powder or a concealer to kind of detail everything again. Now I'm going to detail Maya's lip shape, and I'm going to use this RCMA palette in this shade number 4. I'm going to use a flat brush. Even though it's wide, the bristles are pretty packed, so it'll allow me to create a crisp line. And I'm going to apply some lipstick. I use the shade 4 and 5. It's going to ombre it out. I'm going to apply it first in the middle and then blend it out. And I like to do it with the brush because it allows me to like really ombre the lipstick as I'm applying it.
And now we're using the Eternal Mercy lip oil.
The reason why I named it Eternal Mercy is because in French, merci means grateful. So I was trying to do like a play on words, and I did merci as God's eternal mercy, but then also eternally grateful for God's mercy. So it's like a play on words.
Hola, this is Ricky, and today I'm gonna be recreating Kim's Vanity Fair Oscar party look. I basically blow dry the hair using heat protectant first, and everything smooth with a big round brush, and then you wanna use a 1-inch curling iron and just curl all the hair in one direction, going inwards. After that, just finish with some polishing hair oil, and to get that iconic bang soup look, we just curl the hair inwards, going in the direction of the face, and clip it for setting for 5 to 10 minutes, and this is it.
Kim, is that you? And there you have it, a red carpet worthy look that's timeless. I want to thank Amaya for being an incredible canvas, and to Ricky Mota for creating a perfect hairstyle to complement this look. And Nathan Luna from Luna Villa Atelier for recreating this Balenciaga ensemble.
For more beauty transformations and insider tips, don't forget to subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments below.
Oh wait, powder. When you have a light in your eye, like it's hard to see what you're looking at. What the hell? On numeros. Damn it.
Stop yelling!
I'm rehearsing. Oh God, you. Damn it.
God, you.
Maybe I had too much coffee. Oops. To start. Might we see you out in these streets?
Not in the streets.
In these
In
LA
the makeup streets.
Yeah. What do you
Give
mean?
you a cookie.
Vanity Fair Oscars
No way.
party was...
Okay. So where should I
Wow. Hey, mister!
be? A red carpet worthy look.
A Sharpie?
Oh, damn it. Blah. And Nathan Luna. Damn it. Oh my God. I was so close.